My name is Ryan Herman, and I'm the editor of CA Magazine. I'm the host for today, but the person who'll be doing most of the talking is Andy Tarras, who's an education specialist at Xero. Andy spent 3 years in practice as a cloud accountant, helping clients with payroll, audits, and statutory accounts. Previously worked in industry and has a really good depth of understanding about the challenges that SMEs face from day to day. Andy, when I hand over to you, just to talk about, to set the agenda for today, talk about what we're going to discuss. Also, I strongly encourage you to put your questions to Andy by popping them into the chat, and really use this opportunity to pick his brains and really tap into his expertise. So without further ado, over to you, Andy.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Fantastic to be on board, by the way. Thank you very much for hosting this. I really think it's going to be an effective session. Hopefully you can all see me. I've even put my Xero top on for you today. Of course, I'm calling from my house, which is based up north in Grimsby. Weather is awful, cat is sleeping, but nonetheless, I'm excited to be with you all. This is going to be a really useful session, for you to find out about payment services. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I love payment services. I love this. I love that meal when I go to a restaurant. I do, so much so. This has actually been sitting on my desk, my Go cardless diary, which I'll be using day to day. Very good condition still. So I really do. I am a big fan of payment services and using those to build efficiencies in your day-to-day workflows, especially with receiving payment from customers, because of course, yourselves, your clients, we're going to want to get payments faster. That is going to be pretty much at the crux of today's session. So we will be going through an agenda, but like Ryan's just said, my name's Andy. I'm a Xero education specialist at Xero, funnily enough. That's why I've got the t-shirt on. I've been here for about a year and I've worked in practice previously. Now, I've worked with tech startups, small companies, large companies, and many moons before that, even though I'm only 30 years old. I worked in industry as well. So I'd like to think that I've got quite a lot of experience here, which I can at least refer to or bring back to today's session. And we are going to be going through a demo as well. So I'm going to introduce payment services for you, how they'll benefit yourselves and your clients. We'll have a look at our company, which I've set up, and then we're going to have some handouts at the end. So we're going to have a handout. We're working in the background to get that available for you. And we'll also have a quick survey. So some next steps that you can take with you. So now that I've got my camera on, so you make sure that it's not ChatGPT or AI that's typing this out or speaking to you. I am real, I promise. I'm going to turn my camera off. And we're going to move straight through the content that we have available for today, but not before I don't forget to share my screen. I think that'd be really handy with what we have in store for you today. So, screen shared. I've got my notes as to what I want to go through, and I'm also going to head across to my slides. Now, hopefully, you can see what I can see. And by all means, by the way, use that Q&A panel that Ryan's made us aware of. Let us know questions that you would like answered. I forgot to turn my camera off. One sec. There we go. And also use it if you can just let me know quickly. Can you see what I'm seeing here? You should see a title screen which says get paid faster with online invoice payments. Give us a quick thumbs up, maybe a yes, Andy, a smiley face in that Q&A panel, which will allow me to know, we're good to go. We are ready to continue. Fantastic. It is all good. In the chat panel, nonetheless. Right, we are all good to go. So, first up, introductions out the way. What is on the agenda specifically? In the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to be taking you through the following. We're going to start off with an introduction to online invoice payments, the key features and benefits for using it in your practice. We'll also go through Xero's two main online payment providers and the key differences between them both. We will then show you where to go to set those up and take a look at the seamless payment experience with both providers. And finally, we will provide you with any next steps to help you and your clients on your payment journey. And of course, that journey is to faster payments. We're going to speed up that process for you. We'll also share a webinar resource guide with you and also a bunch of helpful links, survey information. So again, please do have a look at the chat box at the end of today's session. So simply put, invoice payment solutions in Xero allow you to accept payments online directly from a Xero invoice. Now, customers can then pay securely in literally a matter of clicks. So speeding up that process, building in efficiency when it comes to receiving payment. Now, we have found that Xero customers who use online invoice payments get paid up to twice as fast. Up to twice as fast as those who do not. Online invoice payments is the perfect solution for your practice to automate that billing procedure, but it's also great for your clients too. Now, you should, by the way, just see a quick handout there, which has come through in the chat box. Thank you to my colleague Lizzie. We've shared that with you, by the way, just so that you have something to take away. So we've given that to you early, but by all means, we are going to be going through those features today. So we also have Xero partners who are currently using and benefiting from the efficiencies that online invoice payments offer. Now, reducing those all-important debtor days is going to be crucial, isn't it? I mean, we want to reduce those to effectively manage our clients' cash flow. And that's going to be the main point, isn't it? Improved cash flow is going to mean we have money available to pay our bills. So we can also get those liabilities paid with our suppliers. Now, we know that chasing payments is one of the most difficult tasks, and the impact that late payments have on your practice and your clients' business is going to be huge. Now, it's a shocking stat, but half of all payments made to small businesses are paid late. That costs UK small businesses £684 million per year. £684 million per year, which is £684 million more than I currently have in my bank account. It is a staggering amount when we start to look at numbers like that. Now, our Xero Money Matters report in the UK also reveals the impact cash flow has had on businesses in the last 12 months. Now, we recently released our Xero Money Matters report 2023. That was a few months ago. We found that 50% of businesses worried about their financial future. 42% of business owners have to forgo their salary, which of course is never going to be ideal. 24% are unable to pay their bills, and 18% suffer the effects of stalled revenue. Now, we have values here at Xero. One of them is #beautiful. We are really proud of what our product looks like. And I would say that these are definitely not #beautiful stats. But this next one certainly is. When you connect your online invoice payment solution like Stripe or Go Cardless, this can help to get your business paid faster, up to twice as fast. And we'll go through these payment providers shortly. Now, providing an online payment solution is a critical component of supporting healthier cash flow and is an easy step you can take to make a real difference for yourself and your clients, a real tangible difference day to day. And aside from cash flow, it will mean less time spent chasing clients, which I'm sure is tedious and can sometimes be a little bit awkward as well. And you'll have more time spent on value added and meaningful collaboration, which allows you to make a positive difference in clients' businesses. And that sounds pretty #beautiful if you ask me. Now, the click to pay functionality with online payments, well, you have that beautiful bright green Pay Now button shown on screen. That's going to be a game changer when it comes to reducing those payment times and streamlining your client billing. Now, in this day and age, it's fair to say most people expect this sort of functionality and its ease of use, and it certainly delivers. And I do just want to give you a quick example. We recently wrapped up our UK Roadshows 2023, and me and the lady that's on the line today, my wonderful colleague Lizzie, we was in a cab to our next roadshow, and she got an invoice, personal product that she purchased. It didn't have a Pay Now button. And you know what she said? She said, I'm going to leave that till the weekend. It's a perfect example there. We leave it, maybe we don't pay it, maybe we forget to. Had they have simply got a payment service enabled with a Pay Now button, we could have clicked it and made payment straight away. So now that we've covered at a high level what online invoice payments is, let's go through the key features and benefits of using it for your practice and your clients. Now, it's free and easy to add an invoice payment solution to Xero. Most complete setup in under 10 minutes. Also, there's no sign-up or monthly subscription costs. You only pay a fee per transaction if your client chooses to pay using that online payment method. And if you want, this transaction fee can also be passed on to your client, depending on your payment provider. And when your client does come to pay, they'll only need to enter their payment details once up front, which makes that onboarding process a breeze. It gets rid of that hurdle from the very first step. Now, once you do set up, you'll no longer be burdened with admin tasks like preparing monthly payment files, manipulating data in Excel, and manually updating client records. With the invoices being recorded, sent, and also paid in Xero, you're going to say goodbye to that unwanted admin. And of course, who doesn't want to reduce the admin in their lives? Online payments remove these manual steps and mistakes, and they also provide a seamless experience for your clients, especially when they are paying frequent bills for your services. Now, an invoice payment solution also adds that professional touch and provides flexibility to your clients or small business customers around how they want to be paid. Now, this may be credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or direct debit. We know customers like their options, which means more chances to get paid on time. Now, with the Pay Now button, clients don't have to switch tabs or log into internet banking to pay that invoice. Instead, the payment can be made instantly straight from within the online invoice, making the process more efficient for both of you. You'll even get notified when the payment has been made. Xero marks the invoice as paid and makes reconciliation simple by matching payments against the invoice. Now, this significantly reduces manual data entry, minimizes human error, and reduces the guesswork. You'll no longer be spending unwanted time and hours on tedious reconciliation, and you'll have that more capacity, more time, I should say, to provide value-added services to your clients. And you can receive payments immediately and securely with end-to-end fraud protection for you and your clients. Every invoice paid via online payments is secure and protects you and your clients from that all-important fraud aspect. Now, as you hopefully can start to see, online invoice payments is the perfect solution to automate client billing by reducing the manual time-consuming admin work involved with collecting and also making payments, creating more capacity for your practice to focus on the work that really matters to you. So you've seen my diary on my desk. I wish I had a Stripe one. I didn't grab one when I was at the road shows. You're probably wondering what options you have available when it comes to invoice payment solutions. Stripe, Go Cardless, they are our preferred providers, as they have a direct integration with Xero, meaning you can sign up for them for free right from within Xero. They offer both different payment services, different methods for collecting that payment. So let's take a look at both of these solutions now and who they're going to be best suited for. So first up, Stripe. If you're looking to accept one-off or recurring payments via credit card, debit card, Apple Pay and Google Pay, Stripe is an excellent option. You could set up a separate Stripe bank feed in Xero for easy reconciliation. This can be set up after you've created an account with Stripe as well. You'd follow the same process as if you was connecting any bank feed to Xero. You could set up auto pay for recurring billing. It's basically a way for your customers to consent to you saving their card details for future payments. Now, as we've mentioned, Stripe charges a fee per transaction when a client uses that online payment method. However, you can choose to pass this on to your clients if you prefer, using the surcharging feature. Now, it is important to ensure that this action complies with any applicable laws that pertain to ourselves here in the UK and to your business before you do that, but it's an option. Stripe makes payouts to your designated payment account. Payout availability can vary based on the industry and, of course, the country, remind you again, UK, that you're operating in. But in most cases, you won't receive your first payout until 7 to 14 days after receiving your first successful payment. So just on that first occasion. Now, because Stripe is a fully online service, this is their way of managing the risk of fraud and protecting card holders. Now, the webinar resources guide will contain links on pricing and payout times with Stripe. So I really would implore you to have a look at that in your chat box. And by the way, we've also got a survey there. I'll come on to that at the end of the session, but just if you're wondering what that second link is for too. Now, Stripe is generally suited for one-off transactions or those that don't occur frequently. As an example, in your practice, you could use Stripe for billing, maybe one-off client engagements. year-end advisory services or compliance work. On your client's end, this makes it quick and easy to pay via mobile, and they can take advantage of their card loyalty scheme and interest-free terms if they are using a credit card. Now, for your clients, Stripe is generally suited to businesses like tradespeople, catering businesses, creative services, the businesses where they don't invoice too frequently to their customers. So, moving on to the second one, which is Go Cardless. Go Cardless is an excellent solution if you're looking to accept automated direct debit payments. It's borderless, so you can accept direct debit payments from customers around the globe. And with Go Cardless, payouts land in your account after 3 business days. Now, your customers authorize you to set up your direct debit just at the first instance, just once, which allows you to collect invoice payments directly from their bank account without further action from them. Now, this works on a fixed or a variable basis. It's just then a process of setting it up and collecting those payments seamlessly. Now, clients only need to enter their bank account payment details once when they first initially set up that direct debit instruction. You can then get paid on time automatically on the invoice due date. Payments auto-reconcile against 0 invoices too. Now, after you've set up with Go Cardless, a clearing account in 0 will be created automatically as part of the onboarding process, which will display and reconcile all Go Cardless invoice payment transactions, which again makes that reconciliation nice and simple. So just like with Stripe, we have that webinar resources guide available, which contains links on pricing and payout times with Go Cardless. Go Cardless is best suited for businesses with recurring revenue, maybe subscription-based services like SaaS businesses, fitness clubs, property management, childcare centres, and of course, accounting and bookkeeping firms like yourselves. So, like we've said, my voice went a little bit high there, sorry. So, like we've said, it costs nothing to set up. You could actually choose to sign up for both Stripe and Go Cardless for your practice if that's what you need. Giving customers more payment options to pay basically just means more chances for you and your clients to get paid faster. So let's get in and take a look at just how easy an online payment service is to get set up. So we are within our Xero dashboard, and I'm hoping you can see my screen on here. We are in Susan's Crazy Cupcakes. How crazy could they be? We are in that company today, and this is where we're going to be doing a lot of our demo. So we're going to head across to our payment services screen to get started. Click that drop down, access your organization settings. We then have a tab on the right-hand side called Payment Services. Now we're going to go ahead and give that a click, and it does exactly what it says on the tin there. Of course, we're accessing our payment services within our Xero organization. Now, as I scroll down, we have our most popular payment services there at the bottom. Of course, we have Stripe and we have Go Cardless. Please use those 2 hyperlinks with the payment service name on to find out more, and also use your handout in the chat box. Now, Stripe and Go Cardless have the most comprehensive integration with Xero. You can, of course, add other payment providers too by visiting our world-class Xero App Store. And actually, just whilst we are on here, you can access the App Store using the 9 white dots in the top of your screen, and you can use that link at the bottom there from the pop-out window. Now, that webinar resource guide will also share checklists to help you get set up correctly with Stripe and Go Cardless. These checklists have all the key information needed before you start that process. And by all means, pass this on to your clients. Help them with their onboarding process. So I've actually already linked my organization to Stripe. So what I can see is that I can add another account if I wish to. If I click that button, I could pop those details in if need be. But Stripe is actually already connected, so I'm just going to show you the service details as to what I currently have. I'm going to zoom out quickly for you. Now, one thing that I like is that Stripe, straight up front, shows me the processing fee of my invoice. I like that. I really like the fact that it's upfront, transparent with the fee that's being charged. It makes it easy to weigh up the cost of fees against the benefits of faster payments, and it makes that process more streamlined. And of course, there's no sign up or ongoing monthly charges to add to that equation as well. We just have that 1.4% processing fee. Now, if you already have a Stripe account, you can, of course, log in. If I close this window off, you can log in here. You can sign that up straight away, get it connected, which is nice and easy. As I say, though, I've already got one set up, and I've got it here at the top underneath my connected payment services. So nice and easy for me to go ahead and navigate through these. Now, one thing that I love as well is that you can actually add these to a branding theme. But just before we go on to branding themes, now that I've connected Stripe, remember, we're going to have that bright green Pay Now button, which is going to be added to my online invoices. That's going to be fantastic. Customers can click into it, make payments nice and easy. So we finished up the setup. We've got our Stripe updated and it's all connected straight through to our Xero. And again, use that handout in the chat box to find how you can set up Stripe straight away. Now, remember, you can add as many payment providers as you like to your invoice templates, which gives clients more options in the way that they pay you. So let's say if you want to connect your practice to, let's say, multiple payment providers, but you don't want all the options available for some customers. This is where we can create multiple branding themes for your invoice. Now at the top here, I've actually got all those payment services which are currently connected to my branding themes. Now you'll be able to set up your branding themes within your invoice settings within Xero. But what I could do here is press edit. I could go to, oh no, sorry, press manage themes. That's me, long day and all. We can press manage themes. And from my pop-out window here, I can now attach my branding themes to my payment service. So with the Stripe template, of course, I'm going to want to go ahead and assign Stripe to that. So when I then send an invoice to my customer online directly from Xero, which is using that Stripe template, Stripe service is going to be enabled. They will now make payment through that payment service. Of course, Stripe in this example. Go cardless as well. I could attach that if I had my Go cardless set up, which I don't in this instance, but I could set it up and then attach it to my Go cardless template. So just making sure that the correct invoice templates go out to the correct clients. Now, once we're happy, all we need to do is go ahead and press save. Now, it's also worth mentioning you can remove online payments at any time with no setup or ongoing subscription fees. You're not locked in. You can cancel them whenever you need to. But to be fair, why would you want to? We can see the efficiencies that this gives us. Great, so that's where we would go to set up those payment services on our online invoices. We're now going to go through the workflow of sending an invoice to a customer to see this seamless payment experience. We're going to start with Stripe, and then we're going to move on to Go cardless so that you can see the experience with both payment providers. So let's head straight back to our keynotes. And as you can see, we are through to our Stripe example. So we're going to work through this as we go. Now on screen currently is going to be our invoice, our draft invoice where we can change any of the details that are included. Now, if you've added Stripe to an invoice template, it's automatically applied to invoices that use that template. But you are able to manage your online payments from here. All you need to do is hover yourself over that online payment section and press add. We can then incorporate that Stripe payment service onto this specific invoice. Now, once we've gone ahead and done that, you're going to be in control of how you ask your customers to pay. We've selected Stripe in this example, got it there at the top. We would have it, we can select it. But you can also choose to remove the Pay Now button from your invoices too, where maybe you don't want that service to be included. We can then go ahead and approve and email out our invoice directly from Xero using that blue button in the top right-hand corner now that Stripe has been incorporated onto this template. We can then check the message. So this is essentially the cover letter that's being sent with our online invoice. We can customize it, and we can even move through any of the templates we've set up. Making sure our email address is correct, we are good to go. We can then press the send button from that pop-out window. Great, well, that's the email sent. It's now gone across to our customer, and we can see that it's now awaiting payment in the top left-hand corner. Stripe is connected. All we now need to do is wait for them to hit that bright green Pay Now button, and we can then receive our payment seamlessly. Let's now have a look though at what the customer sees, because it's important as to what we see, yes, but what does the customer have a look at when they receive their online invoice? This is what it's going to look like in their not their web browser, their email provider, I should say, when they receive their email. There we can see it. We've got that bright green Pay Now button included. And we also have an online link where we can view that bill, because of course it's going to be a bill on their end. So from here, we can see that invoice is now being opened up. When they're happy to make payment and they can see all the services, everything looks good to go, all they need to do is press that bright green Pay Now button in the top left-hand corner and settle what they owe straight away. And once they've clicked that button, they'll be prompted to fill in their personal credit or debit card details. Literally, it is just a matter of filling those details out. Nice and simple. If the device is enabled, the customer could then use Google or Apple Pay, which we can't see on screen here, but fantastic way there of making payment too. And once we've moved through those steps and made payment, it's as easy as that. The invoice is now paid. And we can see we've got that new label there in the top left-hand corner, paid. Everything has been completed. The amount owed on our invoice is currently nil. Now, Xero automatically will mark that invoice as paid. There was nothing I did manually there to get that to show there in the top left-hand corner, that paid label. But it also automatically creates a transaction for the payments transaction fee too. So we've now moved on to our Reconcile tab in our Xero organization. Payment services like Stripe let you connect a direct feed to your Stripe account. So the individual transactions and fees flow directly into Xero for easy reconciliation. Setting up a direct feed is a similar process to connecting a bank feed if you're similar with that process. Once connected, your direct feed will appear on your dashboard like your connected bank feeds, like what you can see that we have on screen. It's then super simple to reconcile the customer payment from, I don't know, Joe Blogs and associated Stripe fees against the invoice in Xero. You just need to accept the match, and we can see that match because it's highlighted green. All we need to do is press that blue OK button. Now, when Stripe makes their payout, you can also reconcile this to your bank account where the funds are received by way of a transfer. And you can see you have that transfer button enabled there just above your accounting transaction. So Stripe, bright green tick, we've covered that Stripe process end to end. Let's now move on and have a look at Go Cardless. We're going to check out the payment experience, and we're going to start from within the invoice. So make sure, of course, to make sure your details are entered correctly, such as the due date on the invoice. That's going to be crucial, though, with Go Cardless. Set the due date correctly, because that's when we want the direct debit to occur. And also note that you need to give your clients a minimum of 2 days notice to take that direct debit. Now, after filling out the invoice details, you can then click that Manage Online Payments button if you have multiple payment service providers. And remember, you can add as many payment service providers as you would like to your invoice template, as we saw in the payment service screen that we were in before. Now, in this case, we'll have Go Cardless selected as the preferred payment method for this invoice, so that we can collect the payment via direct debit. Now, from this approved invoice, we can then, of course, move through the process of emailing out to our customer by pressing Approve and Email. Very similar to Stripe, if not identical. Again, we have that template to go out with our online invoice. We can edit it, we can customize it. We can flick through the templates that we have and also check the email address is correct from our contact record. So similar to with Stripe, what we just looked at, once they receive the email, they can click the email link to see that invoice in more detail. When they're happy to make payment, they can then go ahead and click that bright green Pay Now button in the top left-hand corner. They'll be directed to a payment page where they enter their contact details. Now, of course, it's pretty straightforward what we have on screen here, but it'll be country of residence, first and last name, and of course, email address. And once they're good to go, they can follow through that procedure by pressing continue. They then fill in their bank details. So all that information I'm sure we're all familiar with, bank code, branch code, account number, suffix, and of course their account holder name. Now, once they've entered and confirmed their payment details, they will then click, if I can get my teeth in, and they'll then click to set up that direct debit. And that button is quite clearly shown at the bottom there. Set up this direct debit instruction. Now, after they've completed this, they will then be redirected back to the invoice page where they will see that they have authorized a direct debit and that a payment has been scheduled on the due date of the invoice. You can see that banner there at the top. We've completed our direct debit setup. Scheduled payment is going to go ahead. They'll be notified via email 2 days before payment is to take place. And this screenshot is an example of that direct debit being set up. This is what they will see. It's also worth mentioning that once a client has authorized a direct debit with your practice, you can bill them for future invoices and payment, and that will be taken automatically on that due date that we set previously. You would just create an invoice as normal within Xero, select the client that you want to, of course, charge that to, and that already has a direct debit set up as well. When they receive that invoice, they will see that a payment has been scheduled and there's no action needed from them in that instance. Payment will automatically be collected on that due date. Again, they'll be notified via email 2 days before payment is to take place. Now we can say in this example, 31st of August, 2023, that is when that direct debit would have been taken. So on to reconciling. Providers like GoCardless automatically add a clearing account to your organization during setup to record individual transactions. So you don't need to do anything. Xero will also automatically reconcile the payment and transaction fee. So there's no need to go in and click that OK button. You can see here that we have the payment by Jane Doe. The GoCardless transaction fees and the net payout received from GoCardless are also on screen. Now, in your practice, you'll only need to reconcile the payout from GoCardless in the bank account, which is, of course, the net amount after your transaction fee has been deducted. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I actually have crossed my fingers there, you can really start to see how simple this is to make that reconciliation easier moving forward. So what are we going to do now? We're going to stay within our keynotes and we are going to recap what we have gone through. Quite a lot of steps there that we have covered. I'm sure you're thinking you have questions. By all means, please use the chat box, the Q&A, to send those across at the end. But we are now nearing the end of this presentation. Now, my aim today was to take you through a closer look as to how you can accept online payments through integrations with Stripe and GoCardless and what impact that might have on your practice and your clients' businesses. And of course, the cash flow. Of course, we're going to want to avoid going into maybe a negative cash flow position, which could be quite common with your small business clients. What we want to do is make that process more efficient. So let's recap. Free one-time setup. Setup is free and easy with no monthly subscription costs. Simply select the payment options you want to offer and only pay per transaction. There's now less time spent chasing clients and worrying about cash flow and more time to focus on value-added activities. Less chasing and get paid faster. Giving your clients flexibility to pay how they want. That'll mean they can pay you on the spot in fewer steps and on time. That's the most important thing, on time. With Xero's click to pay functionality, and that's going to go straight from that invoice process. And we've got a great question actually coming in here on the chat box. Can you set up payment services such as Stripe for individual branding themes? 100%, you've hit the nail on the head there. I couldn't word it better. That's exactly how we want you to set these up. You can set up your payment services, attach them to individual branding themes, offer specific payment services to specific clients. And of course, they will only have that option available. Or you could set up multiple payment services and add them all onto that one branding theme too. If you're thinking, what is a branding theme? We have covered it today, but by all means, please do check out Xero Central, which is our hub for all of our learning resources. Get to know Xero, get to know those payment service solutions too. Also, automate payment collection. You can choose to automate payment collection for recurring bills and get paid on the date the invoice is due without you or your client lifting a finger. Safe, secure payment options you can trust. So invoices paid online via online payments are secure and help protect you and your clients against fraud. And finally, seamless reconciliation, which of course is going to be the remit of everyone on the call here, I'm sure, accountants, bookkeepers alike. When you receive an online payment, Xero marks the invoice as paid for both you and your client. Simply check and accept suggested reconciliations to make bank reconciliation more efficient. And I know firsthand the benefits of an efficient reconciliation because that was pretty much what I did day in, day out when I worked in practice. So where do we go from here? Number one, we're going to automate client billing in your own practice. Set it up. It's nice and easy. So if you haven't already, set up a payment provider in Xero so you can start taking online payments and automate your client billing to reap the benefits for yourself. And of course, we've gone through those benefits today, and you have that resource there in the chat box, your handout. Please give that a read through and use the links available. Next, just have a think about how your clients might benefit from having an online invoice payment solution. Bit of a mouthful there, so I sped it up. Work with them to determine their payment needs and if Stripe or Go Cardless could work for them. The webinar resources guide, I can't shout out about enough about it. That will contain a handy PDF that you can pass on to your clients to get that conversation started. Oh, we went one too far there, I think. No, we're good to go. Webinar resources guide. I'm sure you're thinking, we've heard it, we know it, Andy. But a last shout out for that. Please do check out your chat box. Take that link. Please do take that link before the webinar ends. Have a look as to how it can benefit you. Pass it on to your client. And of course, work through the steps there to setting up Stripe and Go Cardless. Great question from Russell. Couldn't have typed it better if I typed it myself. Are there any more information or resources on the Xero Hub so you can share it with your team? 100% Russell, you sure can. And actually, to make it easier for you, I'm going to go back to my Xero organization. I'm going to go to my dashboard. Oh, no, this is my Xero org. Let me go to Xero. Let me log in. I want to show you where Xero Central is within your organization. Here we go. This is what we know. Click your initials in the top right-hand corner, Russell, and everyone that's on here now. Click Xero Central. Xero Central, how can I describe it? It's essentially the one-stop shop for all support, resources, forums, chat boxes that you need to learn our product better. So make sure you are either within the support tab or the learning tab. If I go to support right now, I could then pop in payment services. Nice and simple. And I can then see all of the return articles. So setting up a payment service in Xero, editing or removing them, adding payment services that uses a custom URL, and so on. Nice and simple for you to navigate through this section here. So you've got a support tab, you've also got a learning tab, and that's where my UK education team sit. It's not my team, sorry, I'm part of the team, but we can go through any webinars or resources that we have available too. So just a quick shout out there for Xero Central. That was kind of the hub when I was working in practice because I worked in a practice that only had Xero clients. So great question there from Russell. So we've got both of our links there in the chat box. Please make the most of them whilst they are there. Resource handout, and we also have a survey. So the survey is going to be where you can give your feedback on today's session. Let us know, was it helpful to you? What would you want to see moving forward? Maybe any suggestions as well as to what we can include in the product. So we can, by all means, pass that on to the product team. So please do take a second to fill in that survey. I promise you, it's only 15 to 20 seconds long. It won't be pages and pages. I would really appreciate if you could fill that survey out for me. And that does bring me to the end of today's demo and presentation, of course. I hope you have found it useful and you're raring to go now. Get back to work and get those payment services set up. So I will see you on another webinar very shortly. I'm sure we are. Until next time, though, thank you for joining. And I'm going to hand back now to Ryan. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. That was a very, very entertaining presentation. And I hope everyone who joined us this afternoon is a lot clearer on the issues, on any issues concerning payments. It just leaves me to say thank you all so much for giving up your time this afternoon to join us. for this webinar. Also to say that the next issue of CA Magazine comes out on Thursday, December 4th. And also to finally wish you all a very, very Christmas and a prosperous new year. Thank you so much.